All right, people, you guys are watching and or listening to another Nomadic Cool video for your guys' entertainment. Be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and of course subscribe for more epic, awesome, cool, funny, curious, and interesting content just like this one right here, right now, on the Nomadic Cole YouTube channel, because this shit is for your entertainment. That's right, people. This shit is for your entertainment. So let's get on with the YouTube video, shall we? Let's get on with it. This video is sort of more like kind of like a beware post, basically. This individual I'll be talking about, you'll know from the title of this video, they are not a great source of information. They tend to hang around a lot in the creationist circles. And I know some people in there, and I just don't want the people that I know to be duped by a con man spreading false information. I'll put it that. I don't want them to be scammed by this con man. So I'm actually making a video on him. There's dozens of other videos up on YouTube as well that go into way more detail than this video will. But I wanted to give my own 2 cents on them because, you know, I definitely know some people who might need to see this beware post. So let's get into it, shall we? Kent Hovind. The man calls himself Dr. Dino, and he does what is called young earth creationist evangelism. He believes that the earth is 6,000 years old or thereabouts, and that the earth was created in 6 days, literally, as Genesis says. Now, that, for many reasons, you can say is a demonstrably false claim. I mean, for instance, if the Earth was 6,000 years old, we date the Ice Age back 10,000 years old. We find all sorts of fossils from the Ice Age. You have to completely deny the dating process, and Kent Hovind does in a lot of his videos. He does deny the dating process and cast doubts on dating processes like carbon-14 dating, for example. He casts doubts on those and instead prefers to use mental gymnastics to make a point and make his point that creationism is literally true, or young earth creationism, I should say specifically. And let me just say this. A lot of the things that he uses and claims, they're bold claims, bolsterous claims that hold very little weight. But also the guy just, you look into his history, he's not a great person. He's not a good person. But let's start off with debunking the ideas first, and then we'll get into the man, shall we? But Dr. Dino, doctor in quotation marks, believes the earth was made 6,000 years ago in 6 days, 6 literal days, rather than what many of the actual doctors that I actually read that are actually doctors in the same area that he considers to claim to be a doctor in. He's definitely not. I read other actual doctors, and they don't have a literal interpretation. Most of them, even the Christians, like Wes Huff, for example, have more metaphorical interpretations of, the creation story. And the creation story is a big thing. We talk about the creation story. We know every society has one. The Greeks had their philosophies of how the people of the world came about. You look at the ancient pagans, they had all sorts of different stories and myths and legends about how the earth was created, and so did the Jews who wrote the Torah and created their creation story. But as time went on, over the last few thousand of years or so, we kind of learned more and more through science about how the earth actually was created. We were able to date things back. We were able to use things like, argon dating and carbon-14 dating. And we're able to use tree rings and volcanic eruptions to date the earth, the age of things, especially very old things. And then through that, scientists are able to come up with an estimate of how old the earth is. So, anyways, here's a clip of Kent Hovind basically introducing his spiel.
Okay. Yeah, this world it ain't my home. So many people make it their home, and you're missing the whole point. We're talking about that this morning, John chapter 15. We're on a whole bunch of channels. Well, tell me about this new TV, lightcast.com. Is it working? Lightcast.com. Kent Hovind, Creation Scientist. Lightcast.com. Okay. Roku, Fire Stick, Apple, and iOS, and Android. Oh, you're speaking Spanish here. Hold it. Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, iOS, Android, for mobile apps. Yeah, you're developing apps that go across every. Wow. See, I'm old. I don't know what an app is. I don't care. Okay. Anyway, push a button, something will happen. Watch us. Tell your friends about our channel. We're at Genesis Baptist Church here. That's our YouTube, one of our YouTube channels. And there it is, Kent Hovind, Creation Scientist. Lightcast.tv. Okay. I've wondered for a long time, why do you call yourself Dr. Dino? Well, because I have 4 doctor's degrees and I like dinosaurs. And I get to call myself whatever I want, whether you like it or not. Dr. Kent, I understand because you claim to have a doctorate in Christian education, theology, and biblical ministry. That is correct, okay? None of these topics are related to the study of dinosaurs. The theology, the Bible is very much, this is the ultimate authority about dinosaurs. God said he made everything in 6 days. Everything. Well, that means dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve. I've asked you numerous times what a dinosaur is. Well, the dictionary might say it's an animal that lived millions of years ago, but the dictionary is wrong.
Now, as you guys can see there's Mr. Hovind calling himself a doctor. And a Dr. Dino, even though his field of study, which was, if I'm correct, biblical studies and Christian education and theology, that really doesn't have anything to do with dinosaurs. Now, I know I had a teacher a while back trying to tell me, we were reading the Bible together, reading from Genesis, actually, and reading about the snake, and he said, well, God takes away the snake's legs, so it has to crawl on its belly. But before that, it was still a snake, and it climbed in a tree. So it's definitely interesting. Why is the punishment for the snake to do something it was already doing? Now, we do find that snakes actually, you look at the snake skeleton, they actually have hip bones and even little feet that are completely retracted into their body and are useless. But, that is because they used to actually crawl on the ground. So maybe that actually has a point. Maybe from a metaphorical standpoint, you could say, hey, maybe they were technically right about that in a weird sort of wording sort of way, just not literally right about it. That's my take on it. So here is the other thing as well that he says. Believes it was literally made in 6 days. Well, we know that 6,000 years and 6 days cannot possibly be true because look at the insurmountable stack of evidence against it. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, the Ice Age goes back to 10,000 years. You can even go back further than that. We find megalodon tooths. I've seen ancient cephalopod nautili shells on dry land in the mountains of Colorado. And those were dated back by the wonderful science team that we had over there. Those were dated back millions of years. In fact, I found things that are older than 6,000 years. We found a Native American grinding stone that dated back to around 8,000 years old. And then we found arrowheads ranging from a different variety of dates, but at oldest, they went back to 14,000 years old. And at youngest, they went as early as 2,000. But we definitely did see one on the trail. And one of the great scientists that we were working with from Stanford, Connecticut, the University of Stanford, where they dated that to, when we asked, they said 7,000 years old. 7,000 years old. Older than the 6,000 years. So no, Kent Hovind cannot possibly be right about that. The other thing I have to say about Kent Hovind as well is his voice. I'm not a fan of his voice. He has this 1930s baseball announcer voice. Shine. Here's Babe Ruth up to bat. Shine. That's what it sounds. It says shine. And he uses this shine voice and his mental gymnastics and his you have to give it to him, a unique ability to deceive and confuse people to eventually make a point, wrap it up and say it's literally true. It's all literal. Even though, as I said earlier, none of the actual doctors of biblical studies that I've read about, I've read, multiple books from great authors like Wes Huff and Bar Ehrman and, Joseph Atwill. They don't take it literally. They don't take it literal. They don't. And Kent Hovind also has a cockiness and arrogance to him as well that is really worrying. A deep arrogance. I mean, he just said in that clip, the dictionary isn't right. The dictionary, the book that tells you what every single word means. The dictionary is just simply going and saying what the scholarly consensus among all the scientists in the world saying what a dinosaur is, that that is a creature that lived millions of years ago. But because Kent Hovind can't wrap his mind around the fact that dinosaurs lived millions of years ago and we didn't have humans riding dinosaurs like the Flintstones, like he apparently seems to think. We just don't find human remains among dinosaur dig sites. It just has never happened, Skip. It has never happened. But because he can't get his mind out of his own dogma, he decides to just buckle down and say, no, I'm the only right one and you're the wrong one. And he's very arrogant as well. I mean, here's a clip that I will show you of him saying that his van will be worth more in a few years than Michael Jackson's Mercedes-Benz.
Michael Jackson's car sold for, let's see, $100,000 is listed on eBay. The Moonwalker, whatever that is. The Mercedes-Benz, one of his longest owned cars, 1985 Mercedes-Benz, sold at auction for $100,000. Maybe someday the Dino van will be worth millions since I drove it. I got money. Yeah, got money. Don't need God.
So there you go. There's him being very braggadocious and arrogant. But not only that, he also goes and he makes basically a claim of the prosperity gospel, saying, "I got money, don't need God, I got money," which is directly against the teachings of the Bible. I mean, there was an entire Protestant Reformation from the Catholic Church that was over that claim. So, might want to be a little bit better with your words there, Mr. Hovind. Another thing he does that he also did is, as in another clip I will show you, is that he also actually tongue-in-cheek admitted that, yeah, we're right. His degree isn't real. Here's the clip.
A creationist with a false degree, whacking is misspelled there, sir. An astrophysicist. Hilarious. It's hard. It's true, though.
And now that we've addressed the gist of the arguments that Kent Hovind has made in the past, now we can actually address the person, Kent Hovind. Not only is he a con man, and he ran this sort of creation science museum thing that he was doing. He's trying to basically copy Ken Ham, but doing this thing called Dinosaur Adventureland. At Dinosaur Adventureland, there's a testament of numerous people, volunteers, friends and family members, even ex-wives of Ken Hovind, who's, by the way, divorced about, 2 or 3 times now I think about it. Yeah, he's divorced multiple times. They all attest that he is a greasy, grimy kind of scumbag. He abuses people, yells at people, gets mad when he doesn't get his way, will not accept no for an answer. He doesn't listen. There's plenty of debates online as well that show that even when he's corrected on something, that he doesn't, correct himself. He just repeats the same things over and over again, even after being corrected. And by the way, guys, I will put the link to some of those debates down below in the pinned comment. I'll put some of them down there for you guys to watch. I recommend you guys check them out. And the 3 that I put down there, those are going to be some of the ones that I think were the best, that just the best quality content. But there is dozens, like literally dozens. Look up Kent Hovind, Science versus Creationism debates. You'll find it on YouTube. And pretty much in almost every single one, he gets creamed. But yeah, he is also not a good person. He's abusive. He reportedly body slammed one of his ex-wives, and there's even audio recording evidence of it. There's a full-length documentary on the guy and his crimes called The Weakness of Kent Hovind. He committed the crime of structuring, which is a federal tax crime. Now, Kent, look, I have some qualms with how much the IRS taxes me too. But you don't see me evading taxes, do you? No, I take it up the keister, and I take it on the chin like a real man. And if you work a real job, then you pay taxes anyway, so you might as well just file and try to get a return at the end of it, because at least you'll get something back for it. I just disagree with the way the government spends it. But yeah, Kent was convicted of structuring. I'll show you guys the news report right here. And yeah, to conclude, Kent, not a great guy. He's greasy, grimy, con man, used car salesman type of dude. Talks like a 1930s baseball announcer. He's kind of cringe. You know, he's an old guy, doesn't really know that much about technology. You know, he's not a great source of information, but on top of that, he has a criminal record of evading taxes, as well as a record of abuses of both workers and friends and family and exes as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you haven't already, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe. Oh, and by the way, fuck Kent Hovind.
Immense amounts of time are required to deposit that, cement it into hard sandstone and shale, tilt it, erode it. Your minimum estimates is hundreds of millions of years.
Don, thank you for your talk so far. Number one, your assumption was naturalism.
Yes.
And your second assumption was uniformitarianism.
As all scientists around the world are.
Well, not all scientists. That would be a false statement, so it would.
Well, all scientists I'm aware of.
Really? So you've never read any creationist literature?
Oh, I've read them. I don't count them as scientists.
Ah, right, okay.